Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Scoop World Order. One day before the team is leaving, they're leaving for Wrigley tomorrow. They're going to go check the field out. Looks pretty cool. I will not be loving to play on it just because the turf's probably going to be a mess, but it'll be fun. I mean, I'm excited to see these guys get it in. I'll protect them in the end zones. But I think it's going to be an awesome experience for those guys to go play in Wrigley. Again, it's a very easy game, and I think they're going to dominate. So we're going to get into that. Talk about some recruiting intel. If you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, we signed up some more Pay It Forward members last night. Thank you for your contributions last night. We appreciate all of you guys that have donated to Pay It Forward. We get emails generally after every show asking if people qualify. We vet them, and again, there's always a little bit of a vetting process, but in general, it's a very easy process, very simple. So if you are interested, if you are a veteran, police officer, first responder, buckeyescoop@gmail.com. We can get you signed up, send us a note, and we will get that process rolling. But again, thank you guys. This is the season for giving, and there's nothing better than taking care of the people that take care of us and keep our country safe. Again, we respect and really praise our veterans. We're thankful for our veterans on here. It's not just Veterans Day one day a year with Buckeye Scoop. We just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all that you guys do. If you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, we appreciate you guys kicking it with us each and every night. It's a huge show because you guys make it one. So thank you for that. We're always grateful and thankful for all that you guys do. If you guys want to do something awesome, if you want to give Nevada and I a Christmas gift, you guys can help us out in a big way by subscribing to Apple Podcasts. Our feed is lagging way behind YouTube. We've been very YouTube centric, so we're trying to grow our audio feed as best we can. So just open your iPhone up, click on the podcast app, search Buckeye Scoop, and click subscribe. That's all you have to do. It takes 30 seconds. You can also do that on Spotify if you want to be extra amazing. But we appreciate you guys so very much. With that being said, going to bring in my resident baseball expert, Nevadabuck. Nevada, the Cubs are hosting the Buckeyes Northwestern's game. It's going to be interesting. I don't love the idea of playing on a grass field that they laid down in October in Chicago, but whatever. I mean, I guess this is what we have to do since Northwestern's building a new stadium. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you have any trepidation about the stadium, the turf, or is it just football, put the ball down, let's go? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, no, anything that's change always concerns me. So, am I crazy about playing on a new turf field? No, not crazy about that. Am I crazy about? Have you seen how close the ivy covered walls are? I know they're going to pat them. I know a thing, but man, they're right there.
It's terrifying. I mean, honestly, like, again, I'm not going to go too much, but it's like I would change my routes. Like, I would run crossing patterns. I wouldn't run a go route into the end zone where my guy would have to catch it in the back of the end zone and could run into that thing. But again, you can call me soft, but JJ Smith runs into a wall and all of a sudden blows his knee out. Then people are going to be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done this game. And again, I'm not trying to be crazy, but I mean, it's like arena football almost. Go ahead and continue, Nevada.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to exaggerate, but I mean, how far away is the wall from the back of the end zone? Like 3 feet?
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
it's not very far. I mean, it's right there. So, I'm just, the 11 a.m. start, the new field, the padded wall 3 feet from the back end. I'm not sure how they're doing the sideline. Are they doing the sidelines where they're both on the same sideline this time? Are they doing alternate sidelines, or do we know?
I don't know. I know in the past they've been on the same sideline.
Yeah, how that's going to be.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, just anything that's changed for me is just, not that I'm worried about Ohio State losing the game, because it really is an unlosable game. I mean, Northwestern's really, really awful, but I just don't want to have anything wonky happen, any freak injury, anything like that. So I guess by us speaking against it, we'll speak it out of existence and take it out of there. But definitely, a weird experience playing there. I mean, the crowd's I'll bet you the crowd's going to be 50-50 Ohio State. I mean, there's going to be a large Ohio State contingent at this game. So from that standpoint, it'll be fun. And like you said, playing in historic Wrigley is always kind of a fun thing. But let's just hope nothing weird happens from an injury standpoint. I can deal with any weird game stuff because we're good enough to prevail no matter what happens there. But injuries would be certainly an unfortunate result of playing in this on this crazy field.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a huge crowd. I mean, because you can day trip it from Columbus. I mean, it's a 5-hour drive. Which that'd be rough getting up super early. But if you fly in and fly out, I mean, I used to do that all the time when I worked in Chicago. I would fly in, for in the morning early and get out. I mean, with a 11 game, you'll be done at 2:30. I mean, you could feasibly make a 6 o'clock flight at the latest. I mean, then there's flights that go. There's probably 15 or 20 flights a day back and forth from Chicago to Columbus on Southwest and on all the other carriers. So super easy trip. I mean, like again, if you said, Kirk, you have to do an away trip, like I'd prefer one that's in a big city because you wouldn't even bring a bag. Just go to the game, watch the game, head home. Like super easy. But I yeah, like I said with Northwestern, like their old field sucked. It was terrible, and it was always gloomy and cold. Like no, we never play Northwestern when it's warm. It's always like 5 degrees and snowy or rainy or crappy or whatever. We played them in, I think, like September. Maybe it might have been October in '04, and it was freezing out. Oh my God, it was so cold. And it wasn't even like this time of year. It wasn't even, mid-November. But I think the team's got to take a step. I mean, this is something that, the biggest problem with a game like this is, I mean, obviously you've got two Goliaths at the end of your schedule back to back and a lot of emotion. And, like Indiana's risen up to be kind of the new contender in the Big Ten that we're going to have to smack down. So these games, I used to call them nuisance games, but you gotta hammer them early. I mean, they don't think they can win, and you got to prove that to them. Northwestern's been bad for a long time, and we just have to not stoop to their level, not let them hang around. Again, this is an unlosable game, but you want to come out of there with momentum heading into the Indiana week, which will be huge. I mean, it'll be college game day, it'll be big noon kickoff, it'll be everything because it's going to be a top 5 matchup, and I think that we gotta. Not a score to settle, but I think sometimes like when a team rises up and they think they're kind of hot stuff, like you have to show them, hey, we've been doing this for 100 years now. So I mean, you guys are doing it once. We do this. If we go 9-0 every year almost. I mean, we might lose one random game, but we're normally like right where they are every year, top 5-ish around this time of the year. So I'm excited. Like I said, I think that Chicago's a cool city. Like I said, I got drafted by the Bears. I loved my summer there. I loved. When I worked for Willis, the Willis Tower, like I used to work out of the Willis Tower all the time, and it's fun. There's a lot of good stuff to do, great restaurants, obviously. But yeah, I think this is like a fun trip. Like I'd rather go to a game like this. And I want you guys to put this in the checks. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and leave this in the comments as well if you're just listening to this after we record it live. What's your ideal road trip for an Ohio State game if you go? Do you want to go to a game that they're going to win, like this one? Do you want to go to the Michigan game where it could be a toss-up? Does the city matter? Because, to me, Chicago is great because there's direct flights back to Columbus all day. So if you book this in, January, like you could have, then you've got your flight booked and you probably got it dirt cheap. And then you can go to the game. Like I literally would fly in the morning of, taxi to the game, hang out at the Cubby Bear or Harry Carey's, the 2 bars that are right next to Wrigley, have some beers, go into the game, and then cab over to the airport afterwards and head home. I mean, you'd be home by 9 o'clock, that's amazing for a Big Ten road game. It's about as good as you can do. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I've never asked you this question, but like, do you because you've gone to Camp Randall as a spectator. I mean, I've never gone to a road game as a spectator. I probably never will. But I've gone as a coach and a player, and I just always wondered, like, if you're just a supporter of the team, like, is it better to go to a game that they're going to win, see a lot of touchdowns, feel good, no anxiety, or is it better to go to like a bigger game where they could lose? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I've been to every stadium in the Big Ten. I've probably been to 80% of the stadiums across the country. I mean, I've been to hundreds of places. But I only like to go to games when I know we're going to win. I don't want to go to a big game. I had no interest in going to Oregon this year and sweating it out. And I have no interest in going again to Ann Arbor. I've been there one time. I have no interest in going again. So yeah, for me, I just like to see wins. I like to see wins. So a game like this would be perfect for me, because Chicago's a great town. Love everything about Chicago. Flights are easy in and out, and the game's unlosable. So there's no chance you're going to sit there and be pelted by trash or anything else like that from the visiting fans. You're going to be the celebrator. Then you're going to sing Carmen, Ohio. Everybody's going to be happy, and high-fiving the players. So no, for me, give me a big, terrible 59-0 game on the road. That's my ideal type of road trip. I have no interest in going for the close games.
Well, yeah, and plus, like, you got to monitor like what are the fan bases like that you're going to be around, because like Northwestern's fans are pretty neutered. I mean, they're not like Wisconsin or Iowa or, I mean, Penn State's the worst. I mean, Penn State's probably worse than Michigan because they're so frustrated because they're so bad. But I think that I would evaluate that because like for some reason, like with football stadiums, there's like this it's like I see viral clips. You guys see the same stuff where it's like these football arenas turn into Mad Max. People get drunk. They do stuff that they'd never do in regular society, like fighting each other, punching each other. You saw the incident with the cops at the Gators Georgia game where the guy's fighting the cop and the cop beats the tar out of him. It's like, so like when you go to some of those like Wisconsin, nasty people, like Northwestern people, they don't really care about football. They're educated. They just don't. It's not their thing, but they'll go and show up and root, but they fully expect to lose and lose big. So they're not going to be trash talking Jessies like, some of these other guys would be. So yeah, I want to hear in the comments. Like, I'd love to hear what you'd like to know. I know like Devin, who's one of our moderators, he went out to Oregon. He had a great time. So their fans were great, but you never know. I mean, it's just one of those interesting things. Cause it's, I always think that, if I had to go to a road game, where would I want to go? And I think Northwestern would be my pick, which sounds crazy because it's probably, if it's not the worst in the Big Ten. I mean, Bloomington's bad, West Lafayette's bad in terms of environment. But I'm so old that I'm just like, my ease of travel, like where I can get back home quick, is also huge to me, as opposed to having to drive it. But Nevada, the team, do you expect, because I expect the people I talk to, we're going to have a lot of varied looks. Like Chip Kelly's, kind of been in his, let's throw a bunch of stuff out here. And it's all, he doesn't just run it to run it, but he wants to get it on film. He might shelve it for a little bit and bring it back in the playoffs, whatever. But when you're playing a team that's bad, you can kind of do that. You can do it kind of whatever you want, put it on tape and have the guys do the 2 running back thing, 3 tight ends, the T formation, the robust T that he loves. Like, I mean, you could do all that stuff, get it on film, and then teams, like I always tell you, when you do something, teams have to practice for it. That's why it wasn't a coincidence that we ran the jack last week. We'll probably run a little bit this week. Doesn't really matter how it goes because we're going to win. But what are your thoughts on not just Chip Kelly, Jim Knowles, running some varied looks, some varied rotations to make Indiana and Michigan prepare for it?
Well, I want to talk specifically about the 2-back thing. I mean, the 2-back thing isn't a gimmick with Chip. I mean, he likes that 2-back formation a lot, and I think you're going to see more and more of that as they're certainly practicing it a lot. And I certainly expect to see him dial that up. Obviously it depends on what defenses are going to be, but man, he loves the flexibility what 2-backs can give you. He loves the triple option. We saw a little bit of that triple option. The last time we'll attack the line, and he had Carnell out there on the at the sideline with a pass option or a lateral option out to him. So Chip's definitely going to be in his bag, and this is a perfect time to do it. And we think about this as being the end of the season, but it's really it's the middle of the season, really, because you go Indiana, Michigan, Oregon, and then 3 or 4 more playoff games again. So you still got 6 or 7 more games for teams to examine stuff. So there's no question that if I had to pick one thing that Chip's going to do, it's going to be the 2-back stuff. And I agree with you 100% on the jack. They practice that. They like what they're doing with it. They've got an entire group that gets to rep with that. So it gives guys kind of a purpose, gives them something to practice, something to kind of get out there and really have an opportunity to get on the field. And it did not go well. I think we all kind of gave it failing grades last week, but they like it. They think that with some tweaks that they were closer to being good with that than bad. And I would fully expect to see some more jack this week, hopefully with better results than they had against Purdue, because against Purdue, it like I said, it was close, but it didn't work, and close doesn't work in Ohio State football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the 2-back thing's not a gimmick, but we just don't do it a lot. So it's not a core thing. But obviously, when you have 2 backs like that, if you can put them both on the field and give them the ball, like I love handing those guys the ball on a jet sweep. I think that's something that I wish we did more in the past. When you have guys that run 4.3, it makes sense. If you have a slower back, you're not going to do that with Mine Williams, who runs a 5.2 40. You're going to do it with a guy like Trey because he gets on the edge quick. You got to block like one guy basically because the whole backside of the offensive line doesn't have to block anybody because the ball's already past him. And you can get some really cheap yardage. I thought like with a Mecca, I'd still like to see a Mecca carried a little bit on the edge. Kind of basically the stuff they were doing with the jet sweep with Travion and Quinshon. But I love kind of the operation of the team right now. I like the O-line where it's at. Again, a lot of really good feedback this week. Carson is really taking the bull by the horns and playing at a high level. Tigra's getting better, and I've been hard on Tigra, but Tigra's a guy that's got a lot of potential, and he's got to figure it out at some point, man. Because again, there's guys that hold you hostage at some point, and eventually, like I said, you got to threaten their jobs. And Tigra played better this past week than he did the week before, but he. There's times where he plays with power and there's times where he gets tired and plays lazy. So he's got to figure that out in a big time hurry. But I think that we've got a lot of stuff on the line. Like the defense, I think is going to have if not a shutout, man, it's going to be close. I mean, Northwestern is just so bad. And again, this is a get right game for a team that's already been right. So a stay right game, I guess you could say. But I love the direction of the team. And I think that this is great for recruiting. I'm excited about Carnell Tate. I think it'll be kind of bittersweet for Carnell as he goes back to Chicago. Obviously, his mother, was murdered. Let's be real, a year ago. I mean, tough. In Chicago, it's brutal. So I mean, it's going to be kind of a bittersweet homecoming for him because I'm sure that he wishes that his mom could see him. I'm sure she's watching over him. But Carnell's like one of the nicest human beings you could ever meet on this earth. So maybe the easiest kid to root for in Ohio State history. And I hope he has a huge game. I think Ryan is going to have him break out. I don't want to say I'd be stunned, but I'd kind of be stunned if Carnell doesn't get a touchdown. Like, again, I think that, I check the anytime thing and put maybe a hundo on it and just look at it. Cause I think that he's a guy that, if you can get a guy a touchdown in his hometown like that, cause he's going to have a ton of people there. And I think that, it'd be a good feather in Ryan's cap, especially when you could kind of name the score. I think it'd be smart to get Carnell in the end zone. But I'm excited to see this line again. I think Donnie's got to keep improving at left tackle. Cass Merrick looks like he's going to be back in a couple weeks, which is going to be huge for the stretch. But yeah, this is going to be a fun week. Like I said, I think that the noon games, as much as everybody hates them, from a practical standpoint, it's great for the rest of the kids in terms of literally resting, so that they can get healthy, get home early. If you got to play a road game, if you get it done at 3:30, 3:30 Eastern, and get home by 7. It's a lot easier to recover than these night games where you get home at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. So yeah, Nevada recruiting is going to spark up. We're about a month out from signing day. A little bit of flip stuff in the wins. Our NIL group, the Foundation, is killing it. 1870 had something that was, I thought, completely hilarious that came out today. Did you see what their little rivalry racing that they're doing?
I mean, I saw it and I honestly couldn't believe it. I thought it was like parody or something like that. So, I mean, were they like raising money with the Michigan NIL group and like in some sort of like competition, almost like the blood drive or something like that? And then
yes,
like splitting the money with the Michigan group or what? I didn't quite understand how that was all working, but it just, the optics of it were so bad that I couldn't believe that it was real. And I didn't even know 1870 was still around. I mean, I thought that they'd kind of gone defunct, or didn't they fire everybody?
Well, yeah, I mean, they fired Drew Essler, they fired Tyvis Powell. They're down to they're like the house in Whoville after the Grinch leaves, where there's nothing but wires hanging on the wall. Like the tree's gone, the lights are all gone, the Who hash is gone. That's 1870. And again, 1870's never been a player this entire time. And you guys listen to us because again, you guys want the truth. You don't want the narratives. You don't want, because again, all of the other media was pushing 1870. Because again, Gene Smith was pushing 1870, and I'm not going to get into why, but I know why, and you guys can probably figure out why. Instead of the Foundation has raised all the money. 1870 is completely, at death's door. They're literally in hospice at this point. And then they come out with the genius idea of let's do an NIL collaboration with Michigan's Collective. Michigan's Collective. Let's raise money with Michigan. So again, 11 Warriors runs this thing. So this 11 Warriors is basically raising money for Michigan right now in competition or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't have any words. Because again, I always knew that they were terrible at what they did. And again, I blame Gene Smith because last year these guys got all the raffles, the little drawings at the stadium, and they're all over the place last year. And so we were stuck in the mud last year in NIL. And now, if you guys notice, if you guys go to the games, you don't see 1870 anywhere. It's like, they do these little 50-50 drawings. So the foundation gets the proceeds of that for their NIL fund, which it should have been last year. So we wasted a year with 1870 of them doing nothing. But yeah, it's just bad. I mean, if you read the comments, again, if you guys want to do your favorite, go get on Twitter, read the comments on this thing. They are hilarious because they're getting charbroiled. Because they said, hey, let's the rivalry and let's raise. And I'll read it to you guys because a lot of you guys listen to this on the audio podcast. 1870 Society. This is from their official Twitter. This says, we are excited to announce the NIL Rivalry Raise, a fundraising competition designed to raise vital NIL resources for Ohio State and Michigan student athletes. Take home exclusive signed memorabilia, win the ultimate football fan experience for the game, support local charities, and more. So why we would ever want to help promote Michigan's NIL, and even if the money is like separate and they say, oh, well, you get to click what box it goes to, like, why would you even give them any notoriety? Like, why would we talk about promoting Michigan's NIL on our own page? What if our page gets 10 times more views than their page? Like, what if it'd be like if we promoted a Michigan podcast on our Ohio State podcast, where our podcast is bigger than any Michigan podcast that's ever been created. It's better than any Ohio State podcast that's been created. So why would we give them our spotlight and our shine? It just makes no sense. But again, it's a terrible organization run by stupid people, and that's why they've gone defunct. I mean, they were given everything and couldn't raise anything. So again, I'm on the front lines of the NIL stuff, man. And so, yeah, to let's co-fundraise with Michigan. I mean, I knew they were dumb, but that's crazy. Like literally crazy. And, I know they came out and clarified and said, oh, well, you get to pick who you give the money to, but still, like, I'm not doing anything to help Michigan. And this is literally, no matter what they say, this is helping spread awareness of Michigan's NIL fund. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, it was dumb. It was just dumb. The optics are bad. The practical things are bad. And my question on that is, how is that going to help us get Jet Washington? That's the question that I have. Can you answer me that question? Jet Washington, the athlete, the 6'4", 190-pounder from Bishop Gorman, who has been fong-bombed to Ohio State. How is this NIL collaboration with Michigan going to help us get Jet Washington? Can you answer me that question, Mr. Barton?
It's not with these guys. I mean, the foundation, they got money for them. These guys, I mean, they don't have enough money to get a chicken bake at Costco. But
that's a perfect segue then. Let's talk about Jet Washington. What do you think about Jet Washington?
I mean, I think we're in the driver's seat. And I think that, I always tell people, recruit these kids until the ink's dry. And then, even still with the portal, you keep recruiting these kids because coaches are going to get fired. Coaches are going to leave. Coaches are going to go to the NFL. Position coaches are going to change jobs. So kids get heartbroken this time of year because of different things. So that's why you keep going after a lot of these guys. You go after the 5-star safety. You go after 5-star defensive ends for programs that might have lost to Vanderbilt. You go after some of these guys that maybe we were out on. Again, the greatest one ever was Dontre Wilson. Dontre Wilson was dead to rights, going to Oregon, wants to be the Black Mamba, wants to be DeAnthony Thomas. And Chip Kelly, in the dead of the night, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And guess who came a-calling? Urban Meyer. And you know why? It's because Urban never stopped recruiting him. And again, I know that we don't work as hard in recruiting. I get that. We don't have staff meetings anymore, which is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. We don't have recruiting staff meetings anymore in the Woody Hayes, which again, we used to have one of those a week. It'd be 2 hours long. And we went through every single person on the board. And it was long and thorough and arduous, but everybody kind of knew where everybody stood with the recruiting. We don't do that anymore, which again, I know that it's a lot more sunshine and rainbows and lollipops now over there, but it is what it is. But I'd stay on all these guys, because again, there's NIL things that bounce. There's coaches that bounce. And plus there's teams that just end up sucking down the stretch, so all of a sudden you look at Ohio State, like nobody in the country has more momentum than we do right now. Not Georgia, not Texas, not all, all the people that everyone who doesn't listen to us is scared of. I hear about, oh my God, did you see Georgia's defense? Oh my God, they beat Texas. Looked pretty good. A lot of pressure, a lot of sacks, really good. Okay. Texas. Okay. Am I scared of those guys? No. Not scared of Georgia either. Not scared of Bama. Like I like our chances versus anybody. Because again, if you look at our combination of offense and defense that we have on the 2024 Ohio State team, it's the best I've ever seen. I've never seen a defense that's first in the nation match an offense that I don't know if we're statistically first in the nation, but I wouldn't pick anyone's offense over ours at this point. Nobody's. I don't care what anybody says. But again, this is my opinion, and what do I know? Nevada, what are your thoughts as we get into the stretch with some of these recruits? And again, why is it important to stay on these guys? Because again, I think that's kind of a lost art now, where you got to recruit these guys until the signing. It's 1 month, so you might as well pour the gas on the fire and see who you can flip at the last minute.
Well, yeah, I mean, and look at some of these teams. I mean, look at what's happening in Florida. Look at, I mean, every Florida kid, every Florida State kid, you definitely have to be on, because I mean, Florida State. Who would have guessed that Florida State was going to be 1-9? I mean, I knew they'd take a step back, but 1-9 is just, I mean, just an absolute dumpster fire. So no, recruiting's a fluid thing with NIL. It's never been more fluid. And Ohio State's battling for the top class in the 2025 class, which look, I'm not as big on whether they have staff meetings or they don't have staff meetings, because I just want them to get results. If they get the results, I always say to my salespeople are like, yeah, how many sales reports, how many calls do I need to make? And I'm like, I don't really care. Just sell. If you sell, then we'll have no problems. And if you don't sell, then we're going to have massive problems. So go out and sell, do your thing, and we'll kind of take it from there. But no, Ohio State's really kind of in a situation now where they do have the momentum. They are kind of the now team. They're elite offensively. They're elite defensively. They've got known coaches. They've got known players. They've got NIL hitting on all cylinders. So there's really no excuses. But that's true for a lot of schools, and a lot of schools are not getting it done. So I give Ryan Day a lot of credit for keeping that on the track. I mean, people just want to talk about how he's doing on the field, which obviously is important, but the academic stuff, the NIL stuff, the recruiting stuff, those things all contribute, and he's pulling aces on all that stuff. So I like I said, I tip my cap, and I have a lot of respect for the job that he's doing on that. And now we just got to complete the mission, get it done on the field as well.
Yep. All right. Let's dig into some super chats starting to pile up. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you guys for paying it forward. John A, thank you for the 5. Woo! There it is. John A, 1870, helping Michigan raise money. Don't ever donate a dime to these clowns. Well, you don't have to tell me to. I mean, I know the people behind it, and they're total scumbags. So I'm good with it. Like I said, I'm good with it. Like I said, and I said the whole time, the foundation's the one to give to. And guess what? Who delivered Caleb Downs? Who delivered J.J. Smith? And again, people didn't believe me. And again, when all of the rest of the media is saying something, and then me and Nevada are saying something that's the opposite, who do you think you should listen to? Because we're not owned. We're not enslaved. So again, we're right on this one. We nailed this one. And so they're defunct. They're completely irrelevant. They got taken off football. And then you look at, the foundation's cranking along, raising money, getting ready for transfer portal season. It's like Christmas shopping for those guys. So, hey, the Buckeyes being good is good for the state of Ohio, the city of Columbus. So we're cranking right now. And they've got a lot of good things coming in, a lot of good deals coming in. So thank God. Because, again, I love watching Caleb Downs. I love watching Quinshon Judkins and Will Howard and Seth McLaughlin and Josh Simmons, and retaining the roster with Trey Henderson and Emeka and the whole lot. And it doesn't happen without the foundation. So, Nevada, your thoughts? 1870 helping Michigan raise money. Don't ever donate a dime to these clowns. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, the NIL thing truly was just crazy. I mean, because if you just go back, I mean, literally the foundation got taken off football and given the basketball team. Then they were like, Gene Smith said, 1870's the one, the foundation, you're off. And now the foundation is, obviously, I mean, they're the dominant, they're the whole thing. And they did it without any support from Gene. And really, they were put in the position. And I'm no apologist for Brian Schottenstein and those guys, but they got it done. they got it done. So, hey, all I care about is results. They got it done. And Ohio State did not do them any favors in terms of doing it. But those guys just kept at it. They kept chugging along. And, now in 1870 can't stay out of their own way. Whoever thought of this is one of the most tone deaf marketing people that I haven't. I probably know who it was, but I don't know for a fact. I'm not going to name him, but dumb, dumb, dumb.
Really dumb. Really bad. Really dumb. Dub V Buckeye, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. Just want to let you and Nevada know how much you appreciate it. Thank you. And also want to let you know Ann Arbor is a WHORE. I'm not going to say that, but I appreciate you so much, my man. Nevada Dub V Buckeye is here to thank us. I appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, we try to crank every night, try to bring good content for you guys. Nevada, any thoughts on that?
Nah, just the show would not be anything without the audience. And we say that every time, but I mean, you really think about the whole format of the show. It's a question and answer show. So if you don't bring great questions, we don't have a show. It's just Kirk and I talking to each other. And we do enough of that talking about obscure soccer betting totals during the day. We don't need to do it at night on the thing. So it's the best part of my night is coming on here, getting these great questions, and then going at it with Kirk, coming up with some answers. So thank you guys so much. And thank you, WV Buckeye.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much, my dude. And I appreciate the kind words and appreciate this community because this community is one of a kind. It's absolutely amazing. Judos are the prophet. Thank you for the 5. Thanks, Burke and Arby's and Submarine Buck. I like that. Any chance to collab with Bobby Carpenter and Schlegs and Natty Lock 2425? I'm always open to it. I mean, I know Bobby and Schlegs really well. I've had Schlegs on the show. Bobby, he has a morning show, afternoon show. He's got a lot going on. So those guys were great players at Ohio State. Those guys were part of the 05 defense, which was legendary. And I just appreciate what those guys do. Got a lot of love for those guys. They do a good job. But again, we generally stick to us, there's sometimes I'll have Devin come on if Nevada's traveling, but 99% of the time it's us because we kind of figured out that even when I have Jim Tressel on, even when I have Troy Smith on, I've had Orlando Pace on, Urban Meyer, we get the highest views when we do it together because you guys like the combination, you like the information, you like the flow of the show. So again, I appreciate you guys, and but I'm always open to collaborations, and I go on anyone's podcast that asks me. Anyone that says, "Hey, I'm trying to start a podcast, can I come on?" Yeah, of course, I'd love to do that. So, Nevada, your thoughts? Any chance of a collab? Is there anyone else you'd want to collab with, Nevada, other than your boy Archie?
No, but I mean that linebacking group was probably one of my favorite. That probably was my favorite linebacking group ever at Ohio State. I just having followed all the recruitments and then Schlegel coming in from Air Force Academy and just all that stuff. So yeah, those guys are great, and obviously we love collaborating with people whenever it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it's always fun to talk to those guys and get their information. It's like I said, it's a good deal. Like these guys, they do a good job, and a lot of guys are trying to do podcasts right now. So I'm always open to help people. I've gone on Devin's show with Mello. I do I did Jux on Bucks, whoever. Like if someone needs me, I'm always there. Tom Gumbar, thank you for the 5. Why do you guys think Scum is throwing around all the money for recruits if the NCAA is close to dropping the hammer? Why spend the money? Nevada OH. Well, I think you got to give the fan base something to be excited about because it's not the product on the field. So it's got to be the product that could be on the field. So you got to go after these recruits and Bryce Underwood and throw money at them. And you're going to have to overspend when you're a bad program like they are right now, especially with the hammer coming. So, but they got to do something. And, Michigan, they've got an endowment. They've got a lot of money. They have as much money as we do. So, eventually they're going to try to keep up with us. Because, again, we've been lethal with the NIL stuff. And they've been okay. Like they got a couple of decent linemen in the last few years, but nothing major. Like they haven't gotten the fact that they haven't gotten a quarterback that's good is crazy because Michigan used to be like kind of the quarterback, mecca, and it isn't anymore. Your thoughts, Nevada? Why do you think Scum is throwing around all the money for recruits if NCAA is close to dropping the hammer? Why spend the money? What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I mean, again, the hammer's only going to drop for a couple of seasons. They've got to, and like you said, they've got to give them hope for something at some point. But I'm gonna give you a little Nevada scoop. I'm going to go on record right now. Michigan is not getting Bryce Underwood. They're not getting him. Calling it right now. Not going to happen. I'm telling you. And if it does happen, you guys can all come on here and laugh at Nevada. Go, oh, Nevada, you were wrong. Your LSU guy's wrong. I'm telling you, I talked to an impeccable LSU source, and I am staking into the ground. Michigan is not getting him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think LSU all the way. Will Zerk, thanks for the 5. Hey guys, does anyone question the field at Ohio Stadium? WTF? I think we get questions about that on our bet. Again, you guys gotta get on the board because we have a big field turf thread right now where a lot of people are questioning the why is it so bad? Why is it so slippery? Nevada is the sediment expert where he says that they're removing sediment from the field.
No. But Nevada told you. Nevada broke it on this.
I know you did. You did.
Too many pebbles.
Too-
And what I got that look from you, got that blank look like, Nevada, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Are you making fun?
Well,
you're
Pebble Buck now. It's fine. I'll change your name on the thing. I'll put a big Pebble Buck.
I'm underwater Pebble Buck.
Underwater Pebble. You're like the pebbles that they put in the aquarium. For the little fish that die within a week. Like you have to those fake pebbles that are made out of Exxon Valdez oil spill stuff.
I got
purple rocks.
I got to tell you a story on that. I bought these blue betas for my kid. Like we got this little beta fish, and my one son had his beta, and the beta kept dying. So I'd go to the store and I'd get another beta and I put it in there. And so this went on for like 4 or 5 years. I kept replacing this beta. And finally my kid figured out that I had been replacing it the whole time. And it was like this big to do. Do you think that was a good dad move, replacing the beta thing? Or do you feel like I was lying to him the whole time? Should I taught him about life and death? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, what's a beta fish cost? Like $10 or something?
No, it wasn't the money. It was the betrayal. He felt betrayed that dad was keeping this beta fish alive, and I didn't tell him the truth that his beta fish had died.
I mean, you could have told him that you had to remove some of the sediment from the aquarium so the fish wouldn't die. The fish was slipping around, so every time you'd put him in, you call him Little Willie Howard, and he'd be flipping.
Little Willie.
He'd be slipping on the sediment in the thing. Little Willie would. I don't know. I think you're being good. Like I mean, it's like you don't want kids to deal with death and sadness.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you want to try to protect them. Like you don't want to come home from school and, Daddy, where's my fish? Oh, he's swimming with Daddy's turds in the underneath the. He's in the septic tank right now, swimming around with Daddy's turds. I mean, I think that I put that. I want to hear it in the chat. Like in the chat, let me know. Is that a good move? Would you replace the fish, or would you let the fish die and say, "Son, you got to take better care of this $5 fish, or else we're gonna
this fish die,
or else it's your fault." We tried to save him, and the ambulance came, and the fish died anyway. So, I think you're being a good dad. Now, I could be crazy, and you could say, "Kirk, you're stupid," but I just think that that's a good move. I think it's, I mean, you shield your kids as long as you can. Because a fish, like again, you can do that. You can't do that with a dog. You can do the fish. Dog's pretty. You can't have like a new dog come in. It's like Daddy, Gizmo doesn't look the same anymore, and he was a German Shepherd, and now he's a Maltese. Like, oh no, he just lost some weight. Daddy took him for a walk, but yeah, he's a chameleon. So I don't know, dude. I think you did a good thing, but that's me. Okay. I mean, I could be crazy, but I think you did a good thing. So yeah, there's been questions about the field turf. It's been a little sketchy, but hopefully they'll take the sediment out. It'll get a little nicer. Don Schaefer, what's up, brother? Thank you for the 10. I hope you're doing great. Thank you for being an Ultra member as well. 11 days, still cheaters. Cheater used notice of allegation response. They have been circulating drafts around for comment. Any insights on what they might be saying or trying to argue? I mean, I'm sure it'll be pretty light. I'm sure they're going to do the lone wolf thing. And I would bet a large sum of money they're going to try to settle. Like Nevada's been saying it. When you're looking down the barrel of something substantial like they are, I think they're trying to figure out a way to sell, especially like with this season going down the drain. Like, why would you not self-impose a bowl ban this year? Why? So you can go to the CarMax Bowl or whatever. You can go to the Meineke Car Care Bowl in Nashville. Like, why would you ever want to do that to a team that just came off winning the national title? Like I've lived that. Again, you got to remember in 02, we won the national title. Fiesta Bowl, best bowl game there is. It's the Fiesta Bowl. Best people. It's in Arizona. Everybody loves Arizona. Kansas State in 03 beat them again. Stay at an awesome resort. Kick the crap out of Kansas State. Great game. The next year we go to the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio, and it was just terrible. It was so, again, when you're used to staying at like the Princess and having like this incredible experience, like it's tough to go to like a C tier bowl game like the Alamo Bowl. And again, the people there are fantastic. And again, that was a game that was a game where I appreciated our fan base more at that game than probably any other game I ever played in, because it was embarrassing to be there. We lost 4. We were 7-4. We beat that Michigan team, which was amazing because that really kind of saved our season. But our fans really showed out for that game. They showed up. They had a blast. They were all over the Riverwalk, getting drunk, having a good time. It filled up the stadium, which was, it was the Alamo Dome where the Spurs used to play. So it was kind of funny playing there. But I really appreciated the fan base from that game because I was like, holy cow, they're actually, because I was like, none of our fans are going to come to this game. This sucks. We've gone to Fiesta Bowl, which is, that's like a Rolls Royce type game. And now we're in a Fiat and our fans showed up and it was great. Nevada, your thoughts. Don Schaefer, thanks for the 10. Thanks for being an Ultra member as well. 11 days till cheater used notice of allegation response. They have been circling drafts around the staff for comment. Any insights on what they might be saying or be trying to argue? Nevada, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be lone wolf. It's gonna be don't punish these kids because none of these kids were. I mean, it's gonna be the usual stuff. I think for they've kind of abandoned the whole idea that this was not against the rules or that somehow Counter Stallions had exploited some sort of secret loophole that only he figured out. By having a third party do it, you circumvent NCAA rules, which was the logic train that jumped the tracks for the Michigan faithful a while back. But no, I absolutely believe this is going to be settled. I am the lone voice in the wilderness saying that, but I fully expect that to happen. I think it makes too much sense. And for Michigan, I heard people go, "Oh, Michigan, they're just going to get a slap on the wrist," and I'm like, if they were going to get a slap on the wrist, don't you believe they would have accepted it already? Why would they go through all this if it was just going to be a slap on the wrist?
Yeah.
And nobody can answer that question. I mean, if it's just a slap on the wrist, you don't go through you understand getting to this point where you're responding to a notice of allegations, that doesn't happen in 99% of the NCAA cases. Like, they're always settled, always. And the fact that Michigan is going to the mats on this situation, there's only one of two explanations at that point. One, you believe that Michigan really believes that they didn't do anything wrong, and that this is just completely crazy that they didn't do anything wrong, which we know that that's not possible. Or two, that what the NCAA is asking to settle this is so egregious that Michigan can't agree to it. And I'm firmly in that second camp. That's what I've heard consistently from my NCAA contacts, from my Michigan contacts. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I love the uncertainty swirling around the program. And it hasn't even cooked up yet until this NOA gets leaked and this response to NOA gets leaked, because then the national media will jump on it and it'll take on another life of its own.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, Nevada, let's wrap this thing up. We got some Thursday night football coming on. Any final thoughts?
No, just exciting time to be an Ohio State fan. I love games like this because we can relax a little bit this weekend and watch the game and just kind of enjoy the show that Chip Kelly and the Jim Knowles give us. Really kind of enjoy the spectacle playing in Wrigley Field and just enjoy Ohio State football. No stress and no heart in your throat the whole time we're watching it. So just try to watch the game, just kind of enjoying the Buckeyes, and then we'll crank it back up for Indiana the next week, because the third top 5 opponent in 6 games. So got a lot to play for there, but let's get through this week and get through this week healthy.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you guys for kicking with us. I hope you guys have a great Thursday night. Some great football on tonight. With that being said, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Again, we appreciate all that you guys do. Again, if you guys want to do something huge for us, please follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Again, we're trying to grow those. They're slowly growing. It's a lot of meat on the bone still. So again, you guys doing that is a huge help for us. And we thank you for that. As always, I hope you guys have a great night. We appreciate all that you guys do. Thank you again to our veterans. We know that we're coming off Veterans Day on Monday, but you guys don't get enough credit, and we love you guys so much. Again, thank you guys for paying it forward tonight. And I hope that you guys have a great week. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday. There's no high school football they need to go to. So we'll be ready to rock tomorrow night. That being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your night. Go Bucks.